I love that. Well, thank you guys for joining us today. You know, it's super exciting to have Adelle and Travis with us, who really have built their salon business around service, and it's fueled by passion and sustained in faith. They got their start in 2013 and since then Salon Adelle has seen many changes, learned hard lessons, and solidified their place as a benchmark leader in the industry. This is interesting. Being a married leadership team brings its own pros and cons to the mix, but Adelle and Travis have knitted together their personal and business relationships to produce an award-winning salon that has been nationally recognized as one of North America's top 200 salons by Salon Today. This success comes from years of trial and error with unwavering commitment to getting it right, serving their guests, and continually using their knowledge to encourage and shape their team. Their passion for service produces incredible guest-centered results, and their desire to see others win drives them to pay their exponential knowledge forward by speaking into the lives of the next generation of industry experts through one-on-one coaching sessions, business advice, and technical skill building opportunities. So welcome, guys. Your website, salonadelle.com, is beautiful. I was on it before we got on this call just to kind of scope things out. I absolutely love that you talk about men's grooming on there as well. So it's not just, you know, extensions and all that. You talked about men's grooming. So I love that.
Thank you.
Well, thank you. And thank you for the invite. And man, just hearing that the bio read out, it's something that you asked us for that. And we've never done a bio. So we had our marketing company create one. And I was like, man, they sound really good.
You guys
Is
are
that us?
I love speaking with both of you on Lauren Gartland's podcast, Inspiring Champions. Of course, a cup with Lauren was so much fun, and getting to know both of you. I'd love to dive in first and foremost, top 200 salons in Salon Today magazine. How did you do it? Talk to the salons right now. How do they apply, and what does it look like? Give us all the deets on it.
Yeah. So you want me to go?
Yeah, go ahead.
So we have been like wanting to do the Salon Today Top 200 like for years. How do you get in that magazine? How do you win these awards? And you know, we tried to make those happen, but didn't really know how to make it happen. And then I finally saw where one year we had the ability to apply, and it was the first year we had the financial ability or the growth ability to do it. And we had a 77% growth in 2017. And so we were like, man, let's do it. Let's put in for it. And I have a background in writing grants. For many years, I wrote federal and state grants. And it's kind of similar. Basically, you just take the information that Salon Today wants for their awards, and you write it not for me, but I write it for them. Meaning you take the content that they are asking for, you take what they're looking for, and you write in a way that targets what they ask. And a lot of times what we do is we write what makes me look good. We write what builds me up or builds the brand up. And that's a great way to not be accepted either in a grant if you're looking for that or in an award. Because it's in the eye of the person giving the award. And so what we did was we took some time and we wrote the content out, and we dived into it deep. Now, I don't know what other people do because I didn't take the time to ask anybody else. I just did whatever I wanted to. And
that content probably took about 5 months.
It took a long time. I am sure, by the way, that anybody can write their own content in a lot less time. Especially if you ask somebody. That's one thing I can tell you is ask people stuff, because I didn't do it. And I spent a long time writing content, and we won 4 awards out of that, which was phenomenal. And then the next year, sorry, I'm belaboring the topic, but the next year it came out again, and I was like, yes, I'm definitely doing it. And we won 4 more, and just, we're loving it, having the ability to go down to serious business and accept the award and just be able to hang out with other top 200 salons. That is probably the, like, if you could say, like, what do you get out of that? I mean, because you don't get any financial things from it. In fact,
You get a sticker.
yeah, I got a sticker. In fact, you're doing a lot of work to get this recognition. And really, it was like the relationships that we have built over being a top 200 salon by talking to other people that are either in the top 200 or they help support top 200, which is a different topic in itself. Wow. Just being able to get involved with them and like I have them in my cell phone now. If we have challenges, I'm like, man, let's call Paula Hinton. You know, let's call her up in Peoria, Illinois, and let's find out if she's ever ran into this thing. Or let's call Michael down in Florida and let's ask him some questions. There's so many different avenues that will build relationships in it.
Yeah, that network in itself has been absolutely amazing to have.
And hiring, let me throw that one out there too. When you're hiring, the ability to put that on hiring has other technicians that are familiar with that all over the world, all over the United States. They're familiar with that level. That's what they seek out. I'm moving to South Carolina. I wonder who's the top 200 salon there. And they want to be part of that brand because they know that the leadership has been built up, because that's what top 200 is off of, is leadership.
Nice.
It's a great recruiting tool.
What was all of your awards? Can you give us the details on that? You had 8 awards.
Yeah.
What were they?
Yeah. I'm going to try to remember. I probably have it here.
Sometimes we get confused because we apply for so many, but then we only win a few. So technology.
So technology, I think we won both years. Growth, we won both years.
Guest services.
Like customer service.
Customer service.
I think we only won that 1 year, like last year. I think culture we won 1 year, but I can't remember which year.
First year.
And then there was like employee benefits 1 year. Yeah. So there's 8 total, but some of them were like both years.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
I just want to make sure I heard this right. And so you opened your salon in 2013, and by 2017 you had a 77% growth. Did I hear that right?
Yes.
Yeah, but let me clarify. By 2015 we were going bankrupt.
It was bad.
Yeah. Yeah. So we had a lot of money.
Talk through that.
Yeah. It's a great question, and this is a great leadership tool right here. Is pride, right? We had a lot of pride, and we had money coming into the brand, and we're like, we got this. We don't need other people's help. We don't need advice. We know everything we're doing. And I mean, because Adelle had been doing hair then for, probably 10 years, 12 years. And I didn't have any business really relationship. I came from a different type of, I'm not a cosmetologist. And we were just doing really poorly by then. We didn't know what a P&L was, didn't know how to manage money or finances or anything.
I want to clarify, we did not know we were doing so poorly
until
I went to a conference and I sat in on Lauren Gartland's talking about the salon industry, and I was like, oh my, we are doing everything wrong, and I need some of her in our life. And so I actually came home and talked to him about getting signed up with Inspiring Champions for cash flow camp. And that's when we first learned we needed a P&L to take with us to this camp. And I had never done one before. And that's when we realized, whoa, it's a whole lot worse than what we ever imagined when it was actually on paper and we were seeing numbers and it was all in the red. So that was a really big eye-opener actually when we got to her camp. And then
probably our biggest expenditure was supplies. Like, I was really good at buying Amazon stuff. I mean, really good at it. We had like a 28% supply cost on profit and loss instead of 8.
Wow. Well, now we have it at 6.
Yeah. And so just learning those things and we hired a business coach in 2015, November. And so all of 2016, we fixed our how we pay our team members. We went through 5 different pay structures. We had to learn out, like, what's the best way to pay a team member? How do we get our profit and loss in line? And how do we get our finances in line? And then how do we get systems set up in the brand to be able to reproduce things? And our coach helped us do that all throughout 2016. And so by 2017, we were set up to win, to be able to produce what we did with a 77% growth. And that's a 24% service profit.
Yeah, 24% profit. And that was just with me and 3 other ladies.
Yeah.
And one other thing we did that particular year was we brought on Easy Hair Pro, which is an extension company. And we started carrying their hair in the salon. So we would do a bulk order. And then we were able to do on-the-fly services with extensions. And that really drove our profit way high.
Yeah.
Which was awesome.
Yeah, imagine like somebody coming in to get their hair extensions, and then the difference between we're going to need you to wait about a week, while we order, and yes, let's do it right now. The difference is huge between what they're going to pay and not pay.
So you talked a lot about, so Sean and I, we have a 6-month course. It's called the Next Level Salon Leadership Course. The first month we spent all on everything you're talking about. But most of our salon owners take a full year to get this set up. And especially because I think one of the biggest challenges is the compensation is all wrong. Let's go back to that. Take us through the whole process of what you had to do to change your compensation plan.
Oh man. So we were on team-based pay when we went to Cash Flow Camp. And what I loved about being at that camp is they really broke down all the different compensation plans and the pros and cons of both. And so it really gave us some tangible information of, is this how we want to proceed? We had also done just straight commission before we did team-based pay. And we found that it created the me, my clientele, this is mine type of culture. And that's not what we were looking for, which is why we went team-based, because we wanted that team culture of everyone helps each other grow and we share guests and it's not a me, mine, it's ours and we all do it together. And so after Cash Flow Camp, I worked with my coach for 6 months on coming up with something that is specifically just for us. And that was bringing the two, team-based pay and commission, together. And so we have 4 ways to earn an income here. We have hourly, and everybody has an hourly paycheck, and that is they're guaranteed, especially straight out of school. I wanted something where people feel appreciated and that they're not having to wait to have guests to start earning an income. I really wanted a mentorship atmosphere. And so while they're earning that hourly, they're actually being mentored by a senior stylist. And then we have commission that kicks in after our associate program, which is anywhere from 4 months to a year. It's really all in how quickly they move through it. And then we have retail commission, which starts right off the bat. And then we have gratuity. And with all 4, if they work all 4 of those areas, then their paycheck is going to be amazing. And they really see that in our top stylists. We had in 1 year, I had hired a stylist. She had 18 years of experience and she made over $100,000 take home in that 1 year, just off of those 4 different ways to make an income. And so once we created that and I implemented it, I was scared to death because it was something new and I had nothing to compare it to. But what we saw is, you know, we allow 52% for salaries and commissions, and we're able to bring it in around 45% and raise our NIPS up higher. So we have more non-income producing and less income producing so that we can constantly be building that next generation of stylists. So that's kind of a sample. There's a lot more to it than that, but that gives the overview.
No, that's great. I think, I know Sean will weigh in on this as well, because he's the one who sets everything up for our salons that we do as well. But we had to sit down and figure out, okay, what's the cost of our rent? So that kind of helps us to determine what we can pay, right, our stylists. And I think most of the time when we're coaching salons that are going bankrupt, like you were talking about, is because they're paying too high. They're paying above that 50% mark, right? But let's go back to Department of Labor. I think most salon owners don't even think about consulting a lawyer that is really, really knowledgeable in the Department of Labor laws, right? And so if you're not paying an hourly, then you're failing the Department of Labor laws. And I think most salon owners think, oh, I could just give them a commission. It's like they're in your building and you're treating them like an employee. Now you've misclassified them as an employee. And so what do you think is the breakdown with salon owners that they just don't understand business? I mean, you go into any other business and they understand that they have to follow Department of Labor laws. Let's talk about that, because that's first and foremost, you know, when we're coaching, and I don't think a lot of coaches do this, Travis and Adelle, but Sean and I are very, very strict on this about integrity. Like, you can't have a cracked foundation, and that's about integrity. And if you've got someone in your building and you're misclassifying them, now you have broken the law, you know? And so no way is your company ever going to make it. You know, it may for some time, but people are going to find you out, if you will. And I think more and more people are getting educated, and there's more states like California, as we all know, they've outlawed any type of independent contractors, and that's coming our way in the Midwest. But most of the salon owners are sticking their head in the sand, saying it's never going to happen to us.
I think that, though, you want to go first, or me?
Go ahead.
I think that the reason that most salon owners may or may not have awareness around it is because most salon owners are like Adelle. They were stylists, and then they're like, I want to be a salon owner.
And I'll just do what that salon does.
That's exactly what I was going to get to. Is
domino effect.
We don't want to reinvent the wheel. The amount of things we have to know as an owner is just exponential, and it just keeps piling on. There's just so much more things to learn and know and grow. And I believe that if a stylist is going to be working behind the chair 40 hours a week and they're owning a salon, there's just so many other things. You just don't want to reinvent the wheel. So you just go see what Sally's doing down the street, and you just do that.
You pick your commission based on everything around you. Like, ours was 50 and 60% around here.
Yeah.
But another thing I was going to say about the hourly is a lot of salons don't have the cash flow to be able to pay hourly. And that was something that was really important to me, because I went into a salon straight commission pretty much out of school and sat there all the time.
I remember that.
And hardly made anything. And it was really discouraging. I felt like I wasn't being able to use my skills and get better. I felt like I was actually backsliding because I was sitting around all the time, and I was getting disgruntled about not making money. So just having that hourly, I wanted to give them that peace of mind in knowing that they're valued here. We really appreciate them, and you're going to work hard, but you're also going to make a lot of money doing it. So we just train them and educate them from the moment we hire them on that process, because it's so different from all the salons around us. And they're like, in South Carolina, we're not required to pay hourly at this point. And so we're one of the only salons that do that.
Yeah.
So it's very foreign in South Carolina.
Go ahead, Sean. But I know it has to do with you're either an employer or you're a landlord. So they're just landlords then. And so they're just leasing it out, the space, by paying commission. So they're a 1099. And they call them 1099 employee, which is there's no such thing. It's a contractor. And so study this. You need to understand it, right? And so no matter what state you're in, this is a federal law. And so I think you have to really understand it.
I was going to throw this out there. Maybe this could be beneficial, is we it would be difficult for me to hire a human resources person. However, it's not difficult for me to hire a human resources consultant. And that's what we have, is we have a HR consultant.
Yes.
And that is beneficial because they create all the legal stuff for us to make sure we're in line. So maybe this could be beneficial. Get people on your team that have the right stuff that could help you. That's your consultants, your attorneys. Like for us, we have an accountant, but we also have a payroll service that's separate, and they do different things, but they are our professionals that we have. We have a marketing company. We have all these different things because it's kind of like my house. It's easier for me to pay somebody to come cut my grass at my house than it is for me to cut my grass at my house, because my time is worth so much more money than me cutting my grass. Now, if I want to cut my grass, then I can cut it, but it's not the purpose.
And then the peace of mind of knowing we can go to sleep every night and we don't have to worry about the law knocking on our door and telling us they're shutting our business down because we're not doing it right. So that was really important to us, that we were following everything and making sure we could sleep at night, knowing no matter what happens, we're doing what's right. So
yeah, that's good.
Sean, go ahead.
I definitely, when we were talking about your awards, I think that based on what you've said, it's pretty clear on how you guys took culture and benefits for sure. You definitely,
let's talk about those benefits. What are you doing with those benefits? Let's hear.
Oh, what are we doing with benefits? So we have, we have matching retirement. So we have health insurance where we pay 50% of their health insurance. We do team trips. This could be a benefit, but we do clubs. So Adelle has created clubs throughout the salon, which has different things in it, like hospitality, generosity, inventory, cleaning, and I think there may be one or two more clubs. And the team gets to choose which club they want to be in, but then they can create culture through those teams.
Nice.
They can create anything they want to. They have a budget. They can plan, and then they can create whatever they want to from that, which is another benefit because they create the things we do as a team. They create, like birthday cards and welcoming people that come in at their first day, things like that. All those are kind of benefits, but it comes from friends benefits. Did I miss any?
Our training program is a benefit. We have an associate program, and I mentioned this earlier, where it's a mentorship, and they are building teams under their mentor. And so one of the benefits is being pretty much having a full guest list after a year of working here. You're pretty much full at 85% or more booked, and that's all based on how we pass our guests down from stylist to stylist. So when I'm at 85% booked, I'm going to go up on my pricing. I'm going to have some guests that can't do that, and so I'm going to take those 5 guests and I'm going to hand select somebody who's under me in my team, and then so on and so forth. And so the guest lists get built really fast, which helps them earn an income a lot quicker than what I did fresh out of school.
Yeah. We also have coaching. We have one-on-one coaching every month, and every team member has that opportunity, which seems really awesome. Adelle and I are both coaches, and we're now transitioning starting this month to go. It was just her doing the coaching of the stylist. I was doing coaching of the non-income producing personnel, which is our front desk concierge. And now we're switching it to where Adelle and I are doing more life coaching, and we're coaching our leaders. And then our leaders, like the front desk leader, she's going to be coaching the concierge up front. And then some of the stylist leaders will be coaching the stylist.
We supply all the tools here.
Yeah, you don't have to bring anything.
I'm just a big believer in you're only as good as your tools are. And I know fresh out of school, a lot of people can't afford a really good pair of shears. And if you don't have good shears, you can't give a good haircut. So I take care of all of those things. I make sure they have all the tools that they need for all the services. We have, so we have PTO. It's a whole program where they actually get to earn extra hours through extracurricular activities. So that could look like planning an event for the salon, or doing a charity event, or going to the hospital and doing someone's care at the hospital. They can earn extra hours towards their PTO and get extra time off. They get their hair done for free here, and they get that every 6 weeks, as well as treatment. We have a family and friends discount, product discount.
How many people do you allow on the family and friends?
I do 4.
4?
And that does not include their moms. Like, we do something special. Like, I've always just felt really like I was giving back to my mom and Travis's mom for all they did for us by doing their hair. And so we just charge them $20 a bowl, as cheap as we can do it, so that our mom's hair looks amazing.
Take care of the moms. I love it.
Yes, yes. And then traveling opportunities. So we have a whole opportunities document where every time an opportunity comes in, I'll post it to this document that the whole team can see. And I'll put in there what the salon is going to pay towards it and what that includes, and then what would be required for them. And it's up to them to take those opportunities. We have some that like to jump on everything, and then we have some that don't do any. So that's just a available benefit for them if they want to take their skills to the next level.
We also have a entire training platform that we give to each team member, and that's how they get onboarded. So Adelle and I, we found we were doing onboarding training, and we would spend like 3 solid days one-on-one. And so what we did was just in our home, casually, her and I made a bunch of videos, and then we put it on a training platform with quizzes. And so the team will go through these trainings, and they're very interactive. Well, they're as interactive as we are.
Yeah.
So they're us. And then at the end, there's quizzes. And then Adelle and Heather, which is one of our leaders, they created some technician classes. And so they have to take those as well, like how to become a $100,000 stylist, or some other ones, how to do a consultation. And there's quizzes at the end of all those. That way, when they're done, they are basically onboarded into the team. And that may take a while, but they're able to do those.
One thing we're actually getting ready to implement, because we have just run into this lately, is training these team members. So what we have found is when they're fresh out of school, a lot of times they really just don't know what they want. And so when we offer a position, they're like, sure, I'll take it. But they really don't put a whole lot of thought and consideration into, do I really want to be a part of this team and this culture? So we started doing play dates where they get to come in and they get to see what the salon is like. We try to do 2 at minimum. But something that we're going to start implementing in August, actually, is a training contract. Because what we found is we're pouring ourselves into these people fresh out of school, and 5 or 6 months in, they change their minds and then they go somewhere else. And they just took all those skills that we gave them for free and went somewhere down the road to our competition. And we're just running into, like, it's happening all the time now, where this wasn't something we really ran into a couple years ago. So now we're going to attach like different increments of training. We'll have a different price. And they'll have an option where they can either pay for it themselves, or they can commit to a time that they're going to stay with the salon. That way, or they would have to owe it back if they left within that increment. And that's just going to help us, help them really think through, do I want this position? Because we're going to give them all that information up front. And if they know that they're only going to be living in South Carolina for 6 months, they might choose to pay for it because they want to take that information with them, versus they can't commit to 2 years or, staying with the salon. So I'm just hoping hoping that it will really cut back on people who are just coming in to try us out and then leave, and hopefully save us a lot of time, energy, and money that's involved in training.
Yeah.
So that's our next step.
That's powerful. So I know a lot of salon owners are listening to this and they're thinking, how do they afford all of these benefits, first of all? So I want to talk about health benefits, because I know that's an area now that we've been growing our salons for the past 5 years. We're getting into the place to be able to offer health benefits, and you pay for 50%. How are you actually able to offer that? How much do all your stylists make? First of all, how many six-figure earners do you have?
We have one six-figure earner right now. We have several that are close.
Yeah.
Nice.
Last year we had 3. Sorry, my voice is I'm losing my voice for some reason. Last year we had 3 of those. But I'll say this, before you just go buying benefits, before you start just throwing into benefits, which are great, really evaluate what your why and why you're going to be doing that. Because what I have found is I want to give and give and give, and we have created multiple benefits over the last 8 years. And there's been a lot of them that I've had to retract or take back because they don't serve us in the long run. They were great. There were some neat things or neat ideas or whatever. But either one, I found out that legally I can't do those. So my accountant's like, hey, don't do that again.
Like, we used to have a $100,000 club where we bought them a tag watch. And it was really awesome. Like, the culture and the atmosphere around that, getting this $1,000 watch was a big deal. And then we find out it's illegal to do that.
Yeah.
Really?
So,
Interesting.
yes.
Why is it?
So,
do you know why it is, or did they say?
Yeah, you can't give gifts to your team over a certain amount
$25.
without taxing them at the same time.
Because it has to be taxable. Okay.
And so what it would look like is here's a gift and here's a bill.
Which doesn't make sense.
Or it comes out on their next payroll. Here's a gift, and then we're taxing you. So we're like, that just doesn't make sense. And so we've had that issue come up, and we've had other things where like, this is going to be a great idea, and we do it, and it's just not a good idea. And so I would say, one is talk to your accountant. So the whole reason we have health insurance and retirement is our accountant worked with us for years to create what would be a plan based on our individual things we have going on that would help us for tax stuff at the end and create a benefit. And that's the whole reason we implemented those when we did, and only when we did, is because the accountant said that.
Yeah, we really looked at long-term benefits, like tax-wise, is actually ending up better for us to offer health insurance and retirement than it was to not offer it. And we don't have all of our team members on it, or I may not be saying that. So I think it all just depends on what's best for that particular salon and how they're classified as in their taxes, as well. Is it going to benefit them or hurt them?
Yeah, let me say this real quick about benefits and team, because I think the reason we want to offer benefits is to assist with the positive culture that we're trying to create. If we can concentrate as leaders on building ourselves up as leaders and how and who we show up as leaders, and then create a culture just loving on them where they are, not trying to bring in extra stuff or trying to muddy the water, but really slim it down and keep it simple. Just love your team members where they are and build up your culture based on first who you are as a leader. Recognizing we all fall short and we're all jacked up, and owning my own junk and being responsible for Travis as a leader. And then I can build my team up. That says way more to a team member than trying to feel like you're buying them off or give them fresh things.
Yeah, it gets rid of that sense of entitlement too that I think we all talk about, you know. And so Sean and I, we spend that whole first month just on culture, and then the next month on leadership. So I want to dive into culture, because you talked about culture clubs, and all the time when we're coaching salon owners, they'll say, well, how do we pay them if they're a part of this culture club? And so Sean and I have something very similar that we're doing in our salons, but let's talk about that, because people want a place to belong. They want to be a part of something bigger than themselves. And I think we're cutting ourselves short if we don't allow that for our teams to be able to do that. So how were you able to get all of your teams to be a part of these clubs? I think it's brilliant, by the way. And how do you keep them engaged with it as well?
Okay, so I want to talk about why I created these clubs. I had a director last year, and she was my right-hand woman. Like, she just helped me so much, and I was able to depend on her so much. And then her life course just changed, and she ended up going in a whole different direction, and she went into the art world, and it really left me spinning in a time where we were building this new space, and I was depending on her for a whole lot of things. And so what I learned in that process is that when I delegate something to one person, I don't ever want to put so much on one person that at any point in time they leave, I can't pick it right back up and it not overwhelm me in this major way. And so that's when I started thinking, how can I split up all of these tasks and give them to the whole team, where the whole team works together to all do what one person did. And so that's how it started. And then it's just kind of evolved from there. So we have the hospitality club. And first of all, when someone is hired on, they get to pick which 2 clubs they want to be involved in. And we just talk it up. These clubs are just a lot of fun. It gets you involved with what's actually happening in the salon and gives you a voice. And so they do look forward to picking their clubs. So we just re-picked all of our clubs since post-COVID, because we pretty much had to start everything over. Mm-hmm. So we have a hospitality club that is mainly taking care of our team. So when we have celebrations, anniversaries, major events in our lives, they're reaching out to them. We have a generosity and encouragement club, and this is for giving back to our guests. Like, how can we saw this video, it was called TD Bank Gives Back. And it made me cry. The video is just so amazing, where TD Bank was giving back to their clients in ways that their clients would have never thought. Like Disney World tickets for this family that had never been to Disney and wanted to go so bad. So I wanted to do that with our guests. Like, if they have a major event coming up, a wedding or something like that, what can we do to reach out to them to, make their day and make them feel special? And then we have inventory club, and that one's like self-explanatory. They do all the inventory, which is usually me. And so that alone takes so much off my plate. They do all the orders, all the budget. We have a cleaning and a laundry club. So they are just in charge of making sure everyone else is doing what they're supposed to be doing, cleaning the salon and keeping things tidy. Because when you work with a team, it's really easy. Things just go by the wayside.
I'll throw this out there. This is a really neat thing. What we do for cleaning is we use laminated sheets that has some stuff on it and has a task. And the first of the day, the front desk concierge puts the name of whoever it is that's on it. And then throughout the day, they use a marker to mark off whatever it is and their responsibility. And then that way, by the end of the day, you can tell who it was and who got marked off for accountability reasons. And then that makes it awesome for whoever's doing the cleaning and laundry club to make sure it's all intact.
Yeah, like when we entered into COVID, the cleaning and laundry club, we were like, okay, everything has to change, like literally. And so they were able to get together and really talk about different ideas and ways to make it tangible for us to actually follow through. We were finding things weren't getting done. We were trying our best, but it just wasn't happening. And so they were able to create this laminated sheet thing, and they love it. They, and they came up with it, which gives them a whole lot of buy-in as well. We have an event and planning club. So this is team events as well as guest events. And pre-planning for like They also do, like, we are getting ready to do membership for extension. So they're in charge of coming up with our little gift boxes for new members. And then we have our research and development club. This is our last club. And this is, we want to be influencers in our market. And so what does that look like? What are the new services that we need to be bringing on? New treatments, new styles that we need to be up on. So they're in charge of keeping us all up to date. And like, we just had a product line want to meet with me, which can tend to be like all the time.
It happens all the time.
And so what I'm able to do is I'm able to say, yes, absolutely. Let me get you in touch with my research and development team. And I just hand that over, and then they take it from there, and then they just report back to me. And that just saves me so much time. And so that was basically all of those things was one person's job that I just took and spread out all throughout the team. And it's working really great so far. We're loving it.
Is there a way that you pay them for that, or they just do it as part of their job there with your company?
Yes, that's just part of our culture.
Yeah, part of
But they also, they get paid because
they're getting paid hourly.
We pay hourly, so they just schedule that into their time.
Yeah, I love that. You know, that's how our salons are set up too, hourly versus commission. So you're always guaranteed an hourly income as well. And so obviously in the first year, that's, you know, most of the time you're going to still be hitting hourly. You know, it just depends on, you know, how many clients you have. And I love what you were talking about, Travis, about really fixing your leadership, because Sean and I spent a whole month on that. We could spend the rest of our lives, of course, with every salon owner doing this, because it's not like it's an event. You know, leadership's not an event, it's a process. And so it's like slowly figuring out what kind of things do you need to work on more of. So talk about, give some tangible things that both of you do to work on your leadership, because kind of going back to, you know, people don't quit companies, they quit people, right? And so no matter how great of our benefit package is that you were talking about, no matter how great our company structure is, or whatever we've done in the past, right? We still have to constantly be looking at ourselves, you know, and thinking about, okay, how can I grow myself, and how can I empower others to be leaders, and that sort of thing. So talk about what you do day to day, month to month, you know, specifically, so that you can speak to the salon leaders right now on the call.
Can you start first?
Yeah, go ahead.
There's a few things I want to throw out. First is gratitude. Gratitude is absolutely the number one way to, like, that's the posture to receive.
Good.
And if you can get in gratitude first thing in the morning, you've set yourself up for the entire day. That's the first thing. Next is, it truly is the speed or the pace of the leader determines the speed of the pack. And it all depends on us setting the example. And then I'll get real practical and just use something in my personal life, because I think a lot of times we just throw out the things like I just said, and they're great. I mean, by me saying them, you're like, yes, that's awesome. Yeah. But let's get on the field for a second. Let me tell you about my personal life, because that's where it gets real, is when you get personal. Because as a leader, I have to show up personally whole and complete if I'm expecting my team to follow my example. And so yesterday, my daughter and I, my daughter's 5, and we had a little camp out in a tent in her playroom. And that morning we woke up and we were both like, we didn't sleep good. We slept in a tent in her playroom. So we didn't have a great night's sleep. So I woke up and I was kind of grumpy. And she woke up and we kind of hugging on each other, but I was kind of not in a great mood. And then we went on a walk with each other, and I was like getting on to her for complaining. Haven, stop complaining. You're complaining again. Don't be negative about this. And by the time we got home and made breakfast and Adelle was waking up, I was telling Adelle we were about to go to the pool. And I was telling her, I was like, Haven has been complaining nonstop, and it's just so irritating. It's getting to me. By the time we got to the pool, I was sitting there watching Haven play, and it clicked in my mind. I was like, I created every bit of that. I created everything that I just said. And I'll tell you how I did it. when I woke up that morning, I was already in a bad mood. I didn't sleep good, and I was already in a bad mood. And then because of that, I projected that negativity onto my daughter. And I did what's called confirmation bias. Because I was seeing her as negative, I was looking for negative, and I found it every single time. When I got to the pool, I texted Adele, and I was telling her this, and I was telling her the discovery thought I was having. And she was like, that's interesting, because you told me she was being negative, and I never saw it. I never saw anything you had said. And so I reversed it.
Wow.
And I was like, if I could think of that, what if I reverse it? So I started looking for positive in my daughter. Guess what I found?
Yeah.
I didn't find negative. I found positivity, which means I had the ability to create all that. And I had the ability to create the rest of my day going good. And so that's what I did. The rest of my day went amazing. Here's the difference. It's me. It's in my perception and the way that I show up. And so I have the ability to create that either way.
So powerful.
And like we have been taking a lot of courses from Landmark that is all about how the brain works and how we think and where all our problems come from. And just we've really dived into ourselves and who we are as people so that we can grow and be the best leaders. And I know, like, Travis, I don't know how many books you read on leadership, but it's a lot.
I read at least one a week.
And then I do leadership podcasts on a regular basis too, because like after COVID, I really went through this phase of I don't know what I want right now, because I spent 8 weeks at home and I really enjoyed it. Do I want all this stress that I'm dealing with? Like, I mean, and so I really kind of lost my vision. And what I recognized actually just this past weekend on Friday, we spent 3 hours reconnecting with our vision and what's important and why are we doing this? And I think it's easy as leaders to get really distracted because there's so many things on our plate right now and we're being pulled in a lot of different directions and we're in the middle of a crisis, a pandemic. And so just getting reconnected with our vision gave me so much clarity. Like, no wonder my team has felt out of sorts because I don't even know where we're going, much less them knowing where we're going. And so listening to leadership podcasts like keeps me attached to that vision, and it keeps me with that desire of wanting to be a better leader on a regular basis. Otherwise, I get complacent and I just start to drift. And I think that's with probably a majority of leaders. If we're not heading in the direction of growth, we're either staying the same or going backwards.
That's good.
Yeah, that's
so
good.
good.
He's like, yeah, I think you slipped past something real fast that I want to make sure our listeners hear you say. Landmark Academy. I know what it is. I haven't been to it, but I know leaders who have been to the Landmark Academy. Talk about that, because that's such a great investment in yourself.
Oh my gosh.
I'm a John Maxwell coach, so I do that. I do entre leadership. I'm always pouring into myself in courses, taking course after course, right? So talk about Landmark.
Can I go or you want to go?
I just want to go over.
Yeah, go ahead.
So Landmark, has changed our lives drastically as leaders and as people. And we send all of our team members to Landmark.
There's another benefit.
Yeah, that's another benefit.
That's a cool idea.
It's something that the salon pays for, and we try to send them in the first 4 months because it is our culture. And like the course that we're actually taking right now is on integrity. And if I could tell you, like, my thoughts on integrity prior to going through Landmark was nothing in comparison to the integrity that I hold myself to now. And it does make me show up different, knowing what integrity is versus having an idea of what it is. And so for me, I think just constantly having that regular growth with Landmark, they have so many courses, hundreds of courses to take. I feel like we'll constantly have something there that we're, getting ready to take, So what were you going to say?
I'll be quick because hers really was good. Is there's nothing wrong with you and there's nothing you need to fix. What we do is we go through life feeling like there's something wrong with me and something I need to fix.
Mm-hmm.
If we do that, that's where we spin our wheels.
Yeah.
And that's where we feel out of control. But if we get that there's nothing wrong with you and there's nothing you need to fix, then what is left is what can I surrender and what can I let go of control of that I have no business controlling.
Nice.
That is where we're left in so much turmoil in this life as we control things. We attempt to control things we have no business controlling.
And we get stuck and we can't see opportunities when we're in that mindset. And we've been there
Yeah.
a lot.
I have read since 2012, I've read at least one business or self-help book a week since 2012.
What are you reading right now? We want to hear.
Yeah. The book of EST, E-S-T, is my current book.
And what's that about?
It's the guy who created Landmark. It is a book about him from the 70s. The old Landmark forum was called EST, E-S-T. And it is phenomenal. It's a really good book. The one I just finished was Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins, which is a really phenomenal book by a Navy SEAL. And both of them are about mindset. Your mindset is really important.
We feel like all the battles are fought in our minds.
All battles are fought and won in your mind.
So
A good example is when you wake up every morning. If you hit the snooze, you just had a battle with your mind.
Yes. Yeah. Don't hit the snooze. Get up. Get up before your alarm. Yeah. Something I heard a long time ago by John Maxwell. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's 90% of the time how I live my life is in anticipation. I'm so excited to get up in the morning and I can't wait. So usually I'm up before my alarm goes off, And so if I'm not, then I know it's like, okay, what do I need to build more anticipation to get excited about getting up in the morning? And so I don't want to miss this because, Adelle, you said something. You have a different definition for integrity, so I'm dying to know. What's that definition?
Integrity is doing what others expect of you, even if you haven't said you're going to do it. It's your word. You are who you say you are. And if I say I'm a person of integrity, then I better be walking within integrity. So it's your word. It's what you say. Everything that comes out of your mouth.
It's also whole and complete.
Yeah.
Being whole and complete.
And that means something different to everybody. And so what does whole mean to you as well? And so, Adelle, what kind of podcast are you listening to right now?
Right now, I'm listening to Craig Groeschel by Life Church on leadership. We're doing the Global Leadership Summit with our leadership team in August. But he's like the one I'm actually listening to right now is Leading Through a Crisis, and it's so good. Like I've been listening to him for about 2 weeks now, and every single one of them, I'm like, man, I have missed the mark. Man, I have missed the mark because he is just so powerful in his leadership, and I just have so much to learn from him and so many other leaders as well that I can't wait to listen to.
Yeah, Sean, what questions do you have to end this out?
I wanted to touch base on one of the awards you mentioned, technology, because typically when you think of the salon world, technology isn't necessarily something that you would put at the top of the list. So I'd love to, hear how you fell into the technology category.
Yeah, I never even thought about putting in for technology either. And then when I really looked into it, I was like, man, we have so many things here that we use technology for that are systems. One of the most important ones I want to brag on Adelle is Google. So Google Drive, which obviously I don't think she made Google. She didn't create Google. But she did create Google Drive that we use for literally everything in the salon. Before she talks about that, I'll talk about like Forest, which is our POS system, Forest salon software.
That's amazing, yes.
It's phenomenal, and it has AI built into it. So just using their app, is so awesome. And they have assigned us a rep because we have given multiple suggestions and they've used them and implemented them. Now we have a rep that we just send our stuff to the rep and then they create stuff for us. So we use those. We use Bish, which is a color software system. Color software. That's not right. Color.
It measures
color weight.
Color management. Color software. Color management. So it's meant to help us with not wasting color in the salon. And then Google Drive.
Yeah. So Google Drive, like everything was handwritten 2 years ago. And I was like, all this paper is killing me. And I just hated it so much. And so I have a friend who was like, have you heard of Google Drive? And I was like, no, what is this? And it already came with our website and I didn't even realize it. And so I started playing around with it and I created a call log in there. And so our call log is all shared throughout the team. If somebody calls, actually every time that phone rings, there is a log made about it and there's notes involved. There's how much are we charging them? There's a mistakes tab because, you know, booking, there's mistakes and they fall through the cracks and then the same mistakes keep happening. So there's a little communication box there and there's a call rotation as well. So it's all attached on one document. All of our training is through Google Drive. We also use Google Chat as a communication tool between our teams. You can create like rooms in there. And so like that's where we do all of our club communication is in those rooms. And so it's just really cool. You can do individual messages, you can do group messages, you can do rooms, chat rooms. And then you can also tag people in it. So if I need him to see something quicker, I can tag him and it'll send him a notification. So that's something that we just started using since COVID because we were used to having a huddle every morning and then all of a sudden we didn't. So how do you communicate on a regular basis? Yeah. So we also have a huddle document in there. And so every morning the front desk comes in and they do our numbers for the day. They figure out what did we do yesterday? What are we doing today? What is our retail and extension goal? How many stylists are on the floor? And then it gives us a per stylist number that they're going to shoot for. And then they compare that with their own goals and see if there's any kind of gap. And then we work as a team to close in that gap for the day. Yeah. On that huddle log.
And there's many more things that she has in Google.
It's my jam. I love it. Like, I love everything about it.
Yeah.
Really powerful. So I can't thank you guys enough. I know we could probably have you on every single week and learn something new from the two of you. You guys are awesome.
Thank you.
So what last words do you guys want to give us as we close this out? And thank you everyone for joining us today live. And of course, parts of this will be on the Salon Leadership new podcast that's out as well too. So we make sure that you'll get the blog on that as well.
So I'll start. And first is as a leader or just as a person, cut yourself some breaks because we go through life like we should have it all together, or we hold ourselves to a standard that honestly we'll never, ever, 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 ever meet. You can't ever meet your standard that you create. And so cut yourself some breaks, give yourself some slack, because it's in that slack where you're actually able to have growth. You're actually able to see a different perspective, because otherwise you're just bogging yourself down with shame and guilt. So cut yourself a break.
I was actually gonna say, don't be afraid to get it wrong, which is really similar to what he said, because I am a perfectionist by nature, and so I have to work really hard at allowing myself to get it wrong sometimes, and then just pivoting and making, adapting to what's next. And then I would say, like, right now during our crisis time, do short-term plans instead of long-term plans, because it just helps you stay focused on the right now. And it's really easy as leaders to be thinking years down the road, but right now we're in a crisis and we're in a pandemic where 3 days from now things could be different. And so just having short-term plans to be able to work through things powerfully and not get in the weeds with all the distractions has been really helpful for us.
That's good.
I love that.
Thank you, guys.
You guys are awesome. I have to know though, do you have a coffee company as well inside of your salon? Okay.
We do, yeah.
It's
Talk
behind
about
this
that
right
for a
here.
second. It's something I've always wanted to do. How is it working for you?
Well, I can tell you the concept is amazing,
Yeah.
but right now it's not working so well.
Yeah.
The concept was
because of
designed.
COVID.
Yeah, the concept was designed when you walk in here, it's a large front end with a coffee shop and the front desk concierge, and then there's a stylist area.
Okay.
And we were going to have classes and local artists and do all this training, education, and just bring people in for non-salon related services. Community.
Yeah.
And which is awesome, but it just doesn't work out right now. And we just opened, in fact. Yeah,
it
will.
Opened it in January, so it's really sad to see it close so quick. We only had it open 3 months.
Yeah.
But in those 3 months, it everybody loved it. People ask us all the time, when are you going to reopen?
Yeah. Well, it won't be long.
It won't.
No, it won't.
Yeah.
We still have hope. Thank you both so much. God bless you guys. We'll talk.
Guys, God bless.
Thank
Yeah, good to see you. God bless.
It was such
All right.
a pleasure.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.